plug my phone in, which essentially is, you know, what you're going to need to run any audio through your phone, or an auxiliary port in your laptop, or whatever you may need.
So what I'd like you to show them is, what if they want to play just music and have the projector off?
Sure, sure.
So let's say it's before class, your students are settling in, you want to play a little bit of music to get the mind working. You can have the projector off, and you should still be able to send audio to the speakers.
Right, because the only thing that this is doing for projector-wise is on-off. So the whole system will still technically work as far as audio goes. So.
And you said there's an AV mute too, right?
There's an AV mute. I'll run through that one as well. So the projection system is off. Sorry. So you can have audio playing, you know, like he mentioned, before students come in, you're kind of prepping for your day. You can have music going, just you know, be going after class while you're wrapping things up. And
But you could have the projector on so it's ready, and then just press AV mute and still.
AV mute will mute.
Oh, it'll
everything.
mute the sound too. Got it.
Yeah. So AV mute will mute the sound and black out your image.
Okay.
So say something maybe like you're showing a lesson plan or something like that, and then you have like a pop quiz. You can just AV mute, and it'll blank the screen so they can do that, and then you can have the answers ready, and then pop that up, and it'll be right on the screen, ready to kind of go over stuff like that. And then
So if you wouldn't mind, what happens if we change inputs right now? Does the sound stop?
yep.
So if you want to do audio only, make sure that whatever audio jack you plugged into, you're on that input as well.
Okay,
That
got it.
matters.
Yeah, so the on-off is strictly for projector use only. Technically, the audio doesn't run through the projector itself. In that casing behind the projector, there's basically the brains behind everything. Everything runs into that, and then it outputs to your speakers, to the microphone system, to the projector.
And then the microphone system's completely separate, right?
The microphone system, well, they're
I mean, we
separate
don't need to turn
pieces.
anything on over there to use
No,
that.
just volume control.
Got it.
You have volume control, and you'll also have volume control in here as well, but it will work with the system off.
Okay.
So teachers getting that too?
Teachers are getting one lapel mic,
Wow,
so the
okay.
teacher can wear
So you
this
wanna
and then
teach
say you want to have your students, you know, speak louder, speak up. You can hand them the handheld mic, and they can check. Should have probably had this on the whole
I
time.
love that.
But yeah, so I mean, it's nice. It works. The kids will like it, you know, too. It'll kind of make them feel a little more involved. And so before Extron, the company that basically this whole system is, the maker that makes this entire AV system, they were all IR. So you can go to any room and the microphones will work.
Oh.
So sometimes there will be interference with, sometimes if you're too close to this wall, or say like you're in that room,
So
it'll
these
pick
are
up.
RF mics.
Yes. So
I'm gonna
they're
Sharpie my name on it.
strictly for the room that they're originally linked to.
So we can't play musical mics. Once a mic is assigned to a classroom, it needs to stay there.
Yep.
That's
So
what he's saying.
maybe
Yeah, I'm thinking
There
labels.
are ways
Labels.
to reprogram the mic to
Right.
get it to work in this classroom, but that's going to be something that you'd have to work with our IT department, TISB, via ehelpdesk@lbschools.net, to engage them and have them come in and either provide a new mic if it's been lost, to reprogram an existing mic if you're taking it from another classroom. Those sorts of things are what the internal district's IT department can help with.
Okay.
So, I mean, microphones are very simple. I can go through a quick run of those. So you have volume control on each microphone. They're a little different, obviously, because they're different microphones on how to increase the volume. So on your handheld mic, if you feel like the volume's a little low and you're not getting as much out, you peel back the back casing where your battery would be, and you just have a simple volume up and down buttons here, so you can, in each kind of beep will let you know that it's increased, and then I believe it will give you multiple beeps once you get to its peak. Yeah, so that tells you it's probably gonna be too loud. Check. I mean, as long as the kids aren't screaming in it, it's gonna it should be fine. And so that's for
So
the
another
handheld.
cool thing, do you wanna talk about the audio jack on the microphones?
So you also have audio jack in the microphone, so say you want to do the same thing.
Well, that's,
No?
because you're going to your input right now with the other side of that jack.
He's saying you could plug the VGA cable into your phone and play the music from the microphone?
Yes. So if you want to
Oh,
put
yeah,
your
your
phone in
audio
your
in.
pocket,
Right.
you could use the lapel mic, which also has an audio one. So you have your phone in your
cool.
pocket, you're walking around, you just have a little aux cable going from your
Right.
phone to the lapel mic.
That's what I was just back.
The downside of that, if you're moving around a lot and, you know,
Hear it.
boom, boom, boom,
Yeah.
you're gonna hear the thudding of that lapel mic as it moves.
So this is plugged into the microphone.
Cool.
So,
So that one's cool, especially if you need to control it during, you know, while you're on the move and you don't want to chain to the wall.
and if you have it off, it will not work. The microphone. You have to have the microphone on. So it'll work as like a modified Bluetooth way of doing things if you want to work in the middle of the classroom or whatever you might want to do. So that's a cool feature, and it works on both. So you can have it also on this one as well. Let's see. So going through that, I can show you guys the AV mute feature as well, just to do a quick run of that. And if there are any questions still, if you guys.
Yeah, show us the AV mute, and I'd like to specifically have the camera kind of go in on what it looks like when the AV mute is engaged. A common troubleshooting thing that we see in the district is, help, my system's not working, and we get there and the AV mute is just flashing. You know, so super simple, but if you don't know about it, it's easy to miss, right? You're like, I don't want to mess with that flashing light. I don't want to push it, you know.
So as you can see, with it blinking, you're not going to be able to do anything. So until the projector's ready, the system is firing up, and it's basically ready to use, it will then be more functional. Normally about around 30 seconds, 45 seconds, and then it'll be ready to go.
What some teachers will like to do, because you can imagine if you were doing this in the middle of a class, keeping kids occupied for 30 seconds can seem like an eternity sometimes. Some teachers will come in, they'll turn their projector on first thing and just AV mute it all day. And then when they need it, they just un-AV mute.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Alright. So that way you're only turning it on in the morning, basically.
So you will also notice, I'll do one thing really quickly. So just so you're not confused when, so say we toggle between inputs, you'll see an HDMI 1 in the upper corner. Everything from this system that runs into that switcher, the switcher runs out just one HDMI cable into the projector. So the switcher inside, even though I'm on VGA right now, it'll say HDMI up there because everything's running out from the switcher through one HDMI cable into the projector. So if you're like, oh, it's saying one thing or the other, that's how this system is run, just through one HDMI, and all of these run into like a main switcher in from.
And so that's an important point to make. What he's really getting at is that projector up there is set to HDMI 1. And when the projector is starting up and you have that blue screen, you're looking at the projector, not the Extron system. So it's going to say, I'm on HDMI 1, because that's what the projector's on. You never ever want to change the inputs on the projector. Don't push the buttons on the projector. If you somehow get a remote for the projectors, don't do that. Don't change the inputs on the projector, because then the whole Extron system won't work. So if you change the projector to HDMI 2, and then you try to turn it on, you're going to see nothing. You're just going to see a blue screen. It's going to say HDMI 2.
So if a teacher does that, then all we
That-
have to do
that
is
one will
come
not work.
back.
Yeah, that's the one I had in my backpack, but it's not working on the.
So typically, we don't actually even turn over the remotes, because ideally, we put the projector up, and you never need to touch it, and if there's a problem, you can call out the IT team to kind of look at it.
Quick question, so if the teacher does do that and switch it to HDMI 2 for whatever reason, before we call a help desk, first we can just change that back to HDMI 1, right?
Sure, I mean,
Okay.
if you're feeling comfortable, yeah, you can kind of get up there, there's a source button, you can just hit it.
Okay.
Generally, I mean, someone would have to be really determined to get up there and change the input. What we have seen in the past is very clever students, depending on the age group here, can use smartphones now, which have infrared blasters, and they can change the input if they figure out what that is. So we try to disable that setting so that no remotes work, so that these don't receive infrared, so that you're not in the middle of the class and some kids having fun in the back turning the projector on and off.
Now, what about Apple TV?
So if you have
Oh,
an
okay.
Apple TV, you're welcome to plug it into any of those inputs. It'll work just like if you plugged it into a normal TV. There is not one in the ceiling.
Okay, got it. Okay.
Okay, so I will do. So we have VGA up right now. You've got audio and your video coming through. So with the AV mute button, which is on the bottom right corner, it will mute your audio and it'll black out your projection screen. So with that shown, so you know that AV mute is in effect, you can tell, one, because audio and your image will stop working, but you'll have a pulsing red light, and that will tell you, say you're wondering why it's not on. Like, you have the projector on, you're like, why isn't it working? If you see this blinking red light, that means your system is under AV mute mode, and you're not going to get audio or video coming out of your system. So just one push of it will unmute it, everything will come back. So it's an extra nice little feature to have, just to, kids are yelling, you can do that, kind of get them to calm down, use the microphone to raise your voice a little bit. Yeah, so it's a neat little feature. So, I mean, again, there's not much to these systems as far as difficulty. It's very user friendly. It's pretty much exactly how it shows on your Media Link controller. It's essentially a remote control. And again, I wouldn't ever use the remote control that comes with the projector if for some reason they're handed out.
We won't.
Yeah,
Or if
normally.
we do, we'll collect them all.
Right. Yeah. I mean, we obviously will give them to you guys because it's part of the project. But yeah, we normally suggest not.
That's fine.
They're pointless. It can only cause damage. Yeah, so.
Okay.
So then the screen will be set up like size-wise?
Yes. Yeah. So also my laptop shrinks the image a little bit. There's also aspect ratios to set.
Aspect ratio, that's
So
okay.
we'll have that all set and squared away before we do any handover to you guys. Every image will be square. Everything will be as perfect as we can possibly get it for you guys. So yeah, there's a little bit of fine tuning in focus of the projector. There's all that. So everything will be in perfect working order before we hand it over to you guys.
And it won't matter if we're using a PC laptop or a Mac laptop.
No, everything, as long as you have the proper hookups, everything should work no problem.
And did you go over how older PC laptops in particular will sometimes have a function key and a projector button that you have to hit in order to send the image?
Right.
I may have missed that.
No, I did not go over
So,
that one.
especially on older Windows laptops, what you'll see is you'll plug it in, and everything's plugged in, and you're like, why isn't it working? On those older laptops, they don't auto-detect it being plugged in. You have to actually hit a button combination, which is unique to every brand. Generally, it's a little button in the corner by control that says FN or function, and then there's a little button on the F1 through 11 keys, and it looks like a little screen. So if you hit those two in combination, that will generally send the signal. If you're having issues with a particular laptop, I just recommend looking up what the manufacturer might have on that. Macs are easy though. They generally just do it.
Yeah, and I don't know if you guys have any more questions. I'd be happy to answer them.
I don't know. I stepped out for a few minutes, but the use of the mic.
The microphones?
I'm just thinking of, let's say, like our orientation, like auditorium presentations. How would we go ahead setting one of those up so that we're able to use the speaker system?
I believe there's a microphone system in the auditorium as well. So you will have set mics for that specific room. So everything should be on already. So all you'll have to do is literally make sure they're charged, which we'll have them all charged for you when we hand them over. But obviously, you're gonna have to charge them throughout the time you have them. It's just a matter of power on. You'll get an amber light, just like the inputs. You'll have an amber light until it syncs, and once it syncs, you'll have a green light, just like the inputs. Check, check, check. Check, check, check. So I mean, you'll have that in the auditorium as well. Everything, and they'll be their own specific for that room. I don't know if you were here for that when we talked about each of these mics are specific per classroom. You can't jump to another classroom to use them for another one, or say a teacher moves from one room to another, make sure he or she doesn't take the microphone with them, because you'd have to reprogram it, and you'd have to just that, or it's a pain. But I mean, it's doable, but it's preferred to leave the mics per the classroom. We don't provide like Brady labels or something like that on them. It can be done. If you guys, I'm sure Fernando can do that for you if you need, but if not, you can just room number.
It'd be by room number.
A little Brady label, room number on them, just in case.
In regards to the auditorium is going to have a different microphone system. These are classroom level systems. They're nice to have in a classroom, but they're really not sufficient for an auditorium space. Your auditorium has a different system. It's actually not an Extron microphone system in your auditorium. You have Shure mics over there. And so those, you'll have a wireless option, you'll have a wired option, and the controls for those are all in the rack that's on the back of your auditorium stage. Those mics, if you take the auditorium mics to here, will not work because they're Shure mics and these are Extron systems. So just a heads up.
Okay, so we have orientation with like 400 parents showing up on Tuesday. The Extron system isn't going to be functional for that meeting because of the screen. There's something going on with that. Will the mic system be ready for that?
That's a good question. I can check into it for you. Please.
Yeah, because I'm assuming our old system was removed.
Yes.
So I won't have mic set up for that portion of it.
Yeah, and I'd imagine within the district we have some resources, and if your mic system is not ready yet, perhaps we can get some portable out.
I know we have speakers installed in there, and I know the rack is at least built as far as elevations.
I'm just worried about the mixer.
Right.
So I'll check on that.
Thank you.
I don't know how far along they are as far as install.
And I'll have Raymond get back to you.
Okay. Thank you.
I think that's it.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah,
if
we're
there's any
open
more
questions.
But, hopefully, when they make this little flash drive or DVD for you guys, it can kind of help answer most questions.
Do you guys have an idea roughly by when we would get that little video?
That would be under Bernard's. I think they're going to be making that video, if I'm not mistaken. So,
Yeah, it'll be a DVD format, so we're gonna put all the, let me turn this off.